Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book haul. This book haul will include books that I got from my most recent visit to the Book Garden in Cambridge, New Jersey. I paid a visit to the Book Garden back in June, and since I paid a visit, one of my new fellow gladiators has visited the store, and I also saw that a few other booktubers, including Olive from A Book Olive, Stephanie from That's What She Read, Kate from Kate How, Emma from A Bookish Princess, and Rebecca from The Book Nester. All of them paid a visit to a few bookstores in the area, and one of which was the Book Garden. And I thought it was time for me to go back, pay a visit, say hi, and buy a few books. It's going to be a little bit conservative, but for me, that's not very... It's not a very doable request. I'll just put it to you that way. But George and Joyce, who own the Book Garden, are just remarkable people. They're really outgoing, and they make for a warm and cozy book-buying environment. So I got 16 books. I'm going to sort this out into different sections. That includes nonfiction, Agatha Christie, mass market paperbacks, and anthologies. So let's start with nonfiction. The first thing that I found and picked up was What Was Asked of Us, an oral history of the Iraq War by the soldiers who fought it, by Trish Wood, and the introduction is by Bobby Muller, who fought in the Vietnam War, and due to devastating war injuries, became quadriplegic, where he became paralyzed from below the chest, so he can only move from the chest up, which he provided an introduction, but Trish Wood did an amazing job bringing together those that fought in the war in Iraq and have them tell their story about the war at hand, very much like what Slavana Alexievich did with Voices from Chernobyl. And it's really amazing to see the stories that come out about the Iraq War and just how it reflects war and the truth about war in general. It's going to be something I look forward to checking out. Next thing that I got really caught my attention, and it's something unique and it's something immensely unique like I've never seen before, and that is Banana, The Fate of the Fruit That Changed the World by Dan Koeppel. And this is pretty much a history about the banana and how it has a global importance, how the argument is, according to the introduction, there was an argument that was made that when Eve ate the forbidden fruit, it wasn't an apple, but it may have very well been a banana, which, if you are an enthusiast for literature, you may be thinking a few phallic ideas, but otherwise, there's a great amount of exploration that is given to this particular fruit, and how what we see in the stores is pretty much what we see in the stores is a genetic duplicate, as it says in here, of the other, and how I heard before that the banana is in jeopardy of becoming extinct by 2020. And this particular book explores that idea that the banana may very well disappear, which is a very unfortunate circumstance. It's very much like the fact that, it's very much like the argument that by 2030, wheat is going to become inedible. But it's just interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next thing I got was something that really has to do with something I'm really curious about and I want to learn more about, and that is Hirohito Behind the Myth by Edward Behr, which this is a biography. It was released in 1989, so that was the same year that he died, which is something that it seems like it's going to be a complete biography. Just as a bit of a reminder, Hirohito was the Emperor of Japan during World War II. And Hirohito had such an enigmatic background. While his intent was to be a peacemaker, Japan was Japan was a member of the Axis powers, which was an alliance with Hitler's Germany and Mussolini's Italy, among some others. But Germany, Italy, and Japan were the major three players in the Axis movement. So I really want to learn more about Hirohito and what he did in his lifetime and the actions that he took. Next thing I picked up was Jacksonian America, Society, Personality, and Politics by Edward Pessen. And I think that this is really important for me, a U.S. history buff, and especially a U.S. presidential history buff, to check out, because Andrew Jackson, or at least what I see, how I see it, is the president that made the transition from that founding father period to American politics of today. Andrew Jackson was our very first Democratic president. The donkey being the symbol very much represented his stubborn disposition. And I'm really curious to learn more about Andrew Jackson's motives and what it is that really drove the country under his administration, and how they connect to today, and why these connections are such. And the last nonfiction book that I got was The Theory and Practice of Hell by Eugen Kogon. And it was translated from the German by Heinz Norden, and originally published in 1950 and translated in 1958. And this has to do with Kogon's experiences of being at the Buchenwald camps, which those were the extreme of the extreme. And it is his survival story. I'm really interested to hear from his point of view, because given the fact that I just read and got a lot out of Elie Wiesel's Night, it'll be really interesting to get Kogon's point of view of being a Holocaust survivor and hearing his story about this devastating point in history. Next thing that I got while I was at the book garden were some Agatha Christie mysteries. I happened to get 4 of them because they were $1.60 each. If you get them new edition, mass markets will be at least $7.99, and if they are trade, it's even more. But the quality of the story is still there, and getting it at $1.60 is quite remarkable. But with regard to the mysteries, I got The Mysterious Affair at Styles, which is the first Hercule Poirot mystery. I got the ABC Murders, which is also a Poirot mystery. I got Death on the Nile. And one that's not a Poirot mystery is 10 Little Indians, also known as And Then There Were None, which I heard a lot of great things about, and it's probably the Agatha Christie mystery that has picked up the most acclaim, and people talk about it most among what she's written. But I really want to get more into the Poirot mysteries. I read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd for the show, and while I thought it was only a pretty good book, I'm definitely interested and willing to check out more of the series. Next thing that I got is something that most students read, and for some reason I never got to read it, and that is Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And for $2, why not? Most people know about the background and how it has to do with a group of kids who are stranded on an island and take different motives to survive. There was an episode of The Simpsons where the students ended up being stranded on an island because Otto drove them there, and Otto is their clueless bus driver who was such a metalhead that those kind of things can mess with his head. But watching that episode really gave me a clear idea as to what I should expect in this particular novel, and I look forward to checking it out. I also got Daycare by John Russo, which really sounds like an interesting work of horror fiction. I'm always interested in learning about more horror writers because there are so many of them, and so many of them that spark a reaction. And I'm definitely interested in checking this out and perhaps adding more of Russo's books to my collection. And among the paperbacks, I got the portable Matthew Arnold, which includes the full selection of poems, critical essays, political writings, and letters. The one Arnold poem that we went over on our show is Dover Beach, which is one of my favorite poems of all time. It was mentioned in Fahrenheit 451, and which Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favorite novels of all time, and I feel that that poem was just so fitting. And it leads me to want to explore much more of what Matthew Arnold has written. And now I want to show you the anthologies, which are all short story collections that I picked up while I was at Book Garden. First one was the Great English Short Stories, which this was quite a grab. I think all 4 of the books that I made mention to. This is edited by Lewis Melville and Reginald Hargraves. It was $3, and it includes everything from Daniel Defoe to Aldous Huxley. And a lot of these include writers that I wasn't very familiar about, or works that I wasn't very familiar about, which I like that. I like learning more about everything that literature has to offer, and I'm really excited to check this out. Next thing that I got was Great Short Stories of the World, which this is a collection of short stories from all countries. Not just, I've seen short stories from United States, Britain, France, Russia in collections, but this one explores, this incorporates ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome. It has biblical literature in here. There is Italy, which I don't think I've really come across any, I think maybe a few collections, they have one or two works of Italian literature. And this one has a nice amount, which I would like to read some more Italian literature. Hungary, China, Japan, Spain, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Denmark, Belgium, Czechoslovakia. They even have South American countries, Brazil, Peru, and so much more. I'm really, really excited to get a taste of everything that world literature has to offer. It's very much like 75 Short Masterpieces, I am guessing. The next two are author-specific, the first of which is Jack London's short stories. Jack London is a really interesting figure. He's a key figure in naturalism in America, and that is evident in his works like The Call of the Wild, but his short stories are something that I am really looking to get into because his writing can definitely be dense, and perhaps with short stories, it'll give me that enthusiasm to delve into his work and appreciate it as a whole. And this includes a great batch of what it is that he has written, and I'm really excited to get into that, but granted, I'm going to be saying I'm excited to get into everything because that's why I get the books that I get. And the last one is probably is the one that really stuck out. And that is the complete and unabridged O. Henry, which includes every single short story collection with every single short story that O. Henry has written and published. I've gotten an O. Henry collection before, but this one has everything, so it really, it's really something that is going to make a great addition, and for only $5, and in really good condition. My appreciation for O. Henry dates back to middle school, where I was first introduced to him, and now I can delve in even more and appreciate what I've read of his, in addition to read everything else that he has contributed to literature. I don't even think I can pick all of these up. There's so many of them. I'll recap them. Here's the nonfiction that I got. Here's my Agatha Christie. The paperbacks. Here are the anthologies that I got. I'm going to leave a link down below to the Book Garden because I highly encourage you to check them out. They are a remarkable store, and they have so many outstanding selections to the point that I could probably spend my whole day there. If for some reason you can't reach the Book Garden, I highly encourage you to check out any bookstore that's in your area and pay a visit, buy a few books, buy multiple books like myself if you'd like. And if you are a booktuber, I encourage you to conduct a bookstore-specific book haul because we need to champion our bookstores. They are something that should be cherished. Thank you for tuning into this video. And for now, and as always, I encourage you to keep reading.